This episode of the D-Lew podcast is brought to you by Happy Wrap. You ever wanted to design your very own gift wrapping paper? Now is your chance to do so. Whether it's for the holiday season, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, no matter what the occasion calls for, you can use Happy Wrap to wrap your gifts. As a matter of fact, you can even design notebooks, greeting cards, gift tags, and so much more. You can sign up today at happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use the promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. By Simpler Hair Color. Hey guys, are you tired of using that drugstore hair dye brand that isn't getting the job done? If you want to use a great product to cover those grays, have no fear, Simpler Hair Color is here. No mixing, no dripping, no mess. It's super easy to use, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Go to simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use my promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. And by WWE Shop with Fanatics. Get your favorite WWE superstars merchandise and wear them proud with superstars like the OTC Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, the Second City Saint CM Punk, John Cena, Main Event Jey Uso, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and so many more. Oh, by the way, they got some really cool championship belts in there as well. So go to wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com. Again, that's wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com so you can go to WWE Shop with Fanatics. Podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lew podcast powered by Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis, and I want to apologize about no show last week, but it was the 4th of July, and I wanted to spend it with my family, and I had such a great time with them, and I hope you all had an incredible 4th of July weekend if you're listening in the United States. But I did find out while I was away that I am going to Texas to cover AEW All In and be a part of StarCast. So thank you, AEW, for giving me press credentials for this event. And it should be an incredible time. But she's back, ladies and gentlemen. The matriarch of the D-Lew podcast, Gabby, is back. And her and I are going to be discussing AEW All In and WWE Evolution. It's an incredible weekend for professional wrestling, for fans, content creators. I can't even talk right now, but content creators like myself and everybody else. So let's not wait any longer. The Evolution and AEW preview show with me and Gabby starts right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she is back. She is back. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, she is the matriarch of the D-Lew podcast. When we talk about the world of professional wrestling, she is the one and only Gabby. Gabby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. And let me just say, man, this weekend is going to be probably one of the busiest weekends in pro wrestling, probably this year, I
Mm-hmm.
think. Because, of course, you have on Saturday, you have AEW All In. You have NXT's Great American Bash.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Saturday night's main event on that Saturday night. And then Sunday, we have WWE Evolution, the all women's pay per view. So there's a lot of moving parts going on, as far as wrestling is concerned this weekend, which leads me to this topic that I know you were talking about on your podcast, and I wanted to shed light because it's valid. I think there's a
Mm-hmm.
discussion that needs to be had when we're talking about right now companies counter programming. Talk to me about your thoughts on that, and like as far as is it too much? Is it too much pettiness? Like, talk about that for a second.
It's too much for the fans. I think it gets to a point where it like counter programs itself. For instance, I'm going to Evolution, so I land Saturday morning, and like check-in theory is not till 3 o'clock, right? So I have a Charlotte meet and greet at 2. So even if I wanted to watch All In, I'd have to pay for early check-in or find someone that's playing it. Then I have a Charlotte meet and greet at 2, so I'd miss Great American Bash. I don't know.
Hmm.
It seems like it's just, I hate to say it's too much wrestling, but at this point it's almost too much because if you were going to watch All In or Great American Bash, then you have like a 20-minute break to get some dinner. Then you have
Hmm. Evolution.
main event,
Right.
and then you
Main
have
event. Yeah,
Evolution
man.
the next
Right, right, right.
day. Um, and then also I feel like when you run these back to back to back to back to back, you don't have enough time to build your card. Saturday Night Main Event is in a few days, and we have what, 2 matches? I'm sure they'll make some tonight, recordings on Monday, and I'm sure they'll probably throw some in on Friday. But it's like you're supposed to buy these tickets blind and just
Right.
assume it's going to be a good show. I don't know. I just feel like it's doing too much now, and like it's not benefiting the fans in a sense. It's benefiting WWE's pockets, not the fans, not their pockets, not their weekend, not their time. It's just like it's I don't know. It's too much. It's too much.
As you record, we are recording this on a Monday right now, ladies and gentlemen, and it was reported, and I kind of heard about this a couple weeks ago, but it was touted this morning by WWE that they're going to be doing NXT at 2300 Arena
Hmm.
like they did last November. But the irony is that they're doing it a week before AEW is doing their 2 week residency at 2300 Arena.
Hmm.
And I remember when they were doing their I can't remember if it was the NXT um tickets that went on sale or if it was Saturday night's main event. I can't remember, but the code for the tickets was all WWE.
Yeah, it was a main event. It was at a main event, I think. It wasn't NXT, but yeah, I remember that as a
And
pre-sale
I'm
code.
just like, man, like it's like WWE, you are the worldwide leader
Hmm.
in
Without a
sports and
doubt.
entertainment. You
Without a
you
doubt.
have you have a 50 something year head start against AEW. You do. There's
Hmm.
nothing to prove because this all goes back to when AEW, the first episode of Dynamite back in October 2019. They literally were going to do Wednesday nights. What did
Hmm.
WWE do? They put NXT up against NXT against AEW's Dynamite.
Hmm.
And I'm like, really? Like you guys had your night. You guys had your own night doing what you do. And because there's this new company out there, by the way, this is their first episode of episodic television. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't
Hmm.
know who to expect. Nothing. All we know is that they were calling it a T-shirt company back then. Remember that?
Hmm.
So in my mind, I'm like, where's the? I thought the pettiness was going to end with Vince, and
Mm-mm.
apparently, and I don't know if this triple. I don't want to say it's Triple H because again, he is just the chief content officer. So it may if it's folks ahead of him could
I
be.
think it's a level of tit for tat. I think that Tony Khan also poked the bear multiple times. Do I think that WWE started it? Probably. Let's be honest. Probably. But I think it's a level of TK and him like going tit for tat a little bit. Um, I think it's part of it. I think Tony Khan definitely has like toned it down since then. But
He
like,
has, and I respect him for that. Yes.
but yeah, no, I think at one point they were just going tit for tat.
Well, it all started, believe it or not, at the WWE Hall of Fame when DX
Oh,
went
the piss,
in
yeah.
and he called it up because he was talking to Billy Gunn because Billy Gunn got hired there as a coach. Now, again, Billy Gunn got fired from WWE. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Oh, Vince will bring you back after after he buys out that pissant company or something." I'm like, "Oh boy." I said, "That
I
wasn't."
mark my words on this. This is a prediction. We'll see if it comes true. I think Billy and his sons end up back in WWE this year. I think Billy's coming back this year. His sons, I don't know when their contract is. I know they re-signed up a couple of years ago. They added some more time to their contract, but I think Billy's coming back.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, first and foremost, that's a pretty good prediction. I think that could come true because let's be honest. I think because of how young they are, not just like as far as their real age, but I'm talking
Hmm.
about years in the business. I think they could benefit being in NXT.
They could benefit from the machine.
Absolutely, because they have the charisma, the swagger, the look, everything. And I think bringing Billy Gunn back as a coach will be a good thing,
Hmm.
for NXT because he was down there.
Hmm.
So
He's in Florida.
absolutely, so it makes sense. So I wouldn't be shocked. So when it does, I'll give you flowers like I always do. But but yeah, it was just one of those things. I'm just like, because I'm going to All In. I'm going to be
Hmm.
covering All In on behalf of the D-Lew podcast and Believe Network. Thank you AEW for that. But for me, it's like, well, I'm covering an event, so I can't watch the Great American Bash, and I do want to enjoy my evening in Dallas. So it's like I'm not going to watch Saturday night's main event. I'm not. I'll catch it. I'll probably watch it on the airplane going home.
So it's funny. I was doing this. I was thinking the same thing. I might have to catch Great American Bash or All In. I might have to catch it either my flight home or I'm
Hmm.
off on Monday because I fly back Monday. Maybe like I'll have a wrestling like power marathon, but like there's no way that I can watch all of the wrestling from a
No,
hotel room. You know what I
I
mean? And then
can't.
like I
No.
also just want to enjoy like not doing anything in a new city. Like maybe I want to go somewhere for dinner. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Right.
I'll catch up on it eventually. We'll circle back to this next week and we'll talk about our experiences for sure.
Yes.
But like
See
we'll
the
circle
deal.
back to this.
But
But
here's the
like
thing: we got the D-Lou podcast and Lip Gloss and Ladders. We're going we're going south. See, we're taking
mhm.
it north and we're going south.
South.
She's going. We're going. She's going to the ATL and I'm going to the Big D. So hey, it's gonna be a wild weekend, man. I
But
can't wait.
eventually, I have to get back and watch my wrestling. But I have to figure out, like I said, when I'm going to watch it because
Right.
I
It's yeah.
will.
Right. But like I said, we're gonna talk this episode again. We're gonna talk about and break down both the AEW pay-per-view and of course WWE Evolution. But as we're recording on a Monday, we know good and damn well that AEW is not just going to have just 8 matches. We know that.
Nah, yeah.
No. They right now there's 8 matches signed and I guarantee you by Wednesday or even by Friday or Saturday there's going to be at least 12 matches cuz that's just what they do, right?
That and I just, even if I wanted to watch All In, I don't have 16 hours of wrestling in my day, right? It starts at like 12 or 1 o'clock, and then it probably would go until like 7 or 8, and then I,
It's a
no,
lot.
no.
It's a tall task for sure.
Even if I were at home in the convenience of my home where no, no,
No. I know, and I
no.
totally agree with you. So, like I said, this is in no match order at all. I'm just going off what I see here. I'm going to start with a three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin defending against Jet Speed, which consists of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, against the Patriarchy of Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. Now, to me, I like what the Hurt Syndicate's doing, but I've always felt as though that Bobby and Shelton should be singles guys and not a tag. And I get it. You want to bring them in and that type of thing, but to me, Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley are too damn good to be in a tag team right now.
So they talk
Thus,
about that in their
yeah,
CVP interview. He
okay,
asked about that. And Bobby Lashley has never been a tag team champion until
no,
AEW. And he
never,
wanted to be an 8 tag team champion. So they made it happen. And he made
mm-mm.
a comment that I'm going somewhere with this. And they also
Yeah,
made a comment that once they were tag team champions, they would use it to put people over and they move on to singles side missions.
right.
So the fact that this is a 3-way tells me that Bobby and Shelby aren't taking the pen. Someone else is taking the pen, and they're still gonna lose the championship. Whenever you add a third person in, you protect your champion, but still losing. So I do think that they are going to take the L.
Which team
I
do you
don't
think?
know. I don't know. I would see them putting over not the patriarchy.
I'm going with Jet Speed
I
because
got to go with Jet Speed.
let's be real, like that is those two guys together is a highlight reel.
Hmm.
First of all, seeing Kevin Knight wrestle live at Dynasty was an honor and a privilege first and foremost. That guy is so good. And
Hmm.
Speedball, and I was talking about Speedball Mike Bailey before. I'm about he's in the right company.
Him and Okada put on a banger, and like
Yeah,
it's easily it's like he brought out something in Okada that I haven't seen. Okada's been around the block for a very long time, but
I
like
think.
him his
Yeah.
match was like I don't
Hmm.
know, chemistry. I'm here for it. Um,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying that's I think that they'll end up taking it. And again, whenever you see like a three-way match, you're always like, okay, so the champion
Yeah.
might lose, and they're protected because they didn't eat the pin. Just
Exactly.
my
But
observation.
I think this is just me because I do believe that MJF is going to be on 0 Hour. I believe. I'm not sure. He might be in the battle royal. I'm not sure, but I think MJF might do something inadvertently and cost them the match.
He's got to get out the Hurt Syndicate. I don't understand why he's in here. I don't understand why he's here. Um,
I don't know what the
yeah,
end
it's
game
got to
is.
end soon. It's got to end soon, though, right? It's got to end soon, though, right? It has
I'm not.
to.
I'm not. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not feeling it at all.
I don't.
Like,
I'm confused. I have confusion. The Hurt Syndicate was supposed to be this pro-black company. Like, I'm sorry, that company, pro-black group, and all of the things. And then like,
right. I don't know. I don't know, but something's going to happen. I believe that that's going to cost Kevin. Maybe Kevin Knight might pin Nick Wayne because Nick Wayne's to get in the pin. He's getting pinned. You better believe that.
you
Christian
think
ain't
he's taking
jobbing.
the pin?
No,
Oh,
Christian ain't.
Christian ain't taking the pin.
No,
That's valid. That's valid.
no. Nah,
That's valid.
he ain't doing it. So we're gonna move on next. This is probably. I think this is gonna be a sleeper match, in my opinion, for the AEW TNT Championship, where the champion Adam Cole Bay defends against the Protostar Kyle Fletcher. This match, I think, is going to me, I just think that Adam Cole hasn't had that match in AEW yet. That match that
Mm-mm.
people are going home talking about. I think this match is going to do it. I think this Kyle Fletcher is going to bring that other side out of. We're going to see the NXT Adam Cole that was with the Undisputed Era, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
That and the fact that I forgot Adam Cole had a championship belt. So like, let's be honest. I'm dead ass
Oh
serious. I
man,
forgot. And same thing with Daniel Garcia. It's a
yeah,
buried
that's
belt.
exactly what I said. The
It's
same
a
thing.
buried belt. Mm-mm. Do something with the belt.
Yeah,
Sure, give it to Fletcher. That's fine, but do something with the belt because the last several champions, I have forgot our champions.
yeah, because you figure it all started because remember, Jungle Boy had the title. He hasn't been on TV in a long time. First off, who lost it to Adam Cole? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, who lost it to Daniel Garcia, who then lost it to Adam Cole. So I'm like, okay, this is I just don't understand because
Yeah.
there's been far more emphasis on the titles that Okada and Omega have. There's been more emphasis on those titles than it
Mm-hmm.
has on the TNT, which was again an OG belt. Cody Rhodes, Mr. Brody Lee, you know what I mean? Darby Allin, the list goes on and on. Like I felt like when Edge won the title, I mean, all right, cool. And I love Edge. I love, I'm sorry, Cope. But I just, it just wasn't necessary in my opinion. I just didn't think that was necessary. But
Mm-hmm.
I do believe the Protostar is going to win it, and also too, by him being a heel and having the Don Callis family, I think that adds more to the title because now it's like okay, he's a heel, and they do some really horrible things, and now
Mm-hmm.
you want who's going to be the babyface is going to take it away from Kyle Fletcher. So we'll see about that.
Right.
All right, so we have a tag team match coming up, and there is a stipulation. If we have Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay taking on the Young Bucks the stipulation is that if Ospreay and Strickland lose, they cannot challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Championships for a year. But if the Young Bucks lose, they'll be stripped of their EVP titles. Now, I can kind of see through this stipulation because I'll be honest, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland aren't a tag team.
No. And I'll be honest with you, this is a match that I truly have no investment in.
Nah, probably
I'm not
not.
invested. I mean, I'm never everyone. I mean, everyone knows I'm not a Swerve fan. I don't hide that. But like, there's even if you take him outside of it, I'm just
Right.
not invested in. I don't have thoughts on this match.
No.
Um, I'm sorry, I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I know I see the Young Bucks winning because it's like, okay, Swerve and Osprey, they're an occasional tag team. They're not a legitimate tag team that's going to
Hmm.
be in contention for a tag team
To
titles down
go
the
back
road.
for belts again, right?
I don't know. I don't see that. So I see, you know, the Bucks, walking out as the winner. So we'll see.
Hmm.
So there's a women's casino gauntlet, a gauntlet match for a future AEW Women's World Championship match. The participants are to be continued. Me personally, I would like to see somebody by the name of Willow Nightingale win that because I think Willow, because she just recently signed her a very lucrative contract with AEW. Big ups to Willow Nightingale because she definitely deserves it. She's one of the good peeps in wrestling. I really, I enjoy being around her. She's a really, really nice person,
Hmm.
but well deserving of the contract. But I think if she's in it, I think she should be getting a championship match down the road. And of course, there's a men's casino gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match, and I think I have an idea who that mystery. If there's a mystery person in this match, I have a feeling it's going to be a man. What's the name of that song? Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no mountain low enough. Ain't no mountain high enough. Oh. Darby Allin, I think, is going to be in that casino gauntlet match, and he's going to win it, and he's going to challenge whoever is going to be the winner of the heavyweight championship match down and later in the main event. What's your thoughts on that?
Agreed. And we'll get more into my theories when we get to that match. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes,
Got it,
agreed.
got it.
I agree
All
with you.
right, cool. Now we have one of our three. I want to say three main events. I would say 'cause this is worthy of main event worthy. We have the winner takes all match to unify the Continental Championship and the International Championship to create the inaugural AEW Unified Championship, where you have the Continental Champion Okada taking on the International Champion Kenny Omega. Now, I believe this is the rubber match of their
Hmm.
of the matches that they had, which is dope because this is for all the marbles. And I think because right now Okada is still with the Young Bucks, correct? Right
Yeah,
now, he's with the
yeah.
Young Bucks. So I see the Bucks winning, you know what I mean? And I see Okada being the inaugural unified champion. Now, it seems as if that they're making this a secondary world title. Because if it's a unified title, I would imagine it's a world championship. What do you think about that?
I don't know because, like we talked about with the TBS champ or the TNT champion for the men or whatever, like it
Right,
just we
right.
at some point like the same issue we run into with WWE. It's too many belts that are not being featured. So like, what are we doing here? So at this point, I welcome the combined belt,
Right,
um,
right.
but like I need them to elaborate more, um, because like don't throw another belt at us for it to be lost in the shuffle. Like I love belts like the next person, but like it
Yeah.
has to make sense. So like I don't know. I need them to like elaborate further on this because I have confusion.
Now, here's my theory. This is
Mhm.
just me. I'm not this is not a conspiracy or anything like that.
Mhm.
If Tony Khan wants to do a very soft roster split, he would make the AEW World Championship and
Mm.
Dynamite exclusive and make
Mm.
the AEW Unified Championship a Collision exclusive.
Makes
So
sense.
now you have the two world championships, recognized,
Mhm.
and they'll be recognized on those shows. You agree with that?
I agree. I agree. We'll see. I know he's tried to brand split before it didn't work out. But also I kind of feel like it's a natural brand split because certain people like you just don't really see on Saturday nights
Hmm.
anymore. So we'll see if it's actually like becoming a thing. I don't know. Sometimes I have to let stuff play out because like I don't understand. So we'll see.
Right, right. No, I totally agree. All right, so we have a Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship. The champion John Moxley of the Death Riders defending against Hangman Adam Page. I was listening as we're listening. Was recording this on a Monday. I was listening to Bust It Open on the brand new Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 channel on Sirius XM channel 156. Shout out to Dave LaGreca on an historic an historic
Mm-hmm.
achievement with that. I love those guys. But him and Bully Ray was talking this morning about if Hangman doesn't win Saturday night,
Mm-hmm.
what does this do for him in the immediate and distant future? Will the fans give up on Hangman because of the fact that he's had so many cracks at the title and he's just not
Yeah, he's not a
winning?
closer. Yeah, he's not a closer.
Right. So, A, do you see Hangman finally winning the big one, or does the Death Riders continue their reign of terror in AEW?
So I think that Hangman loses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Darby is the one that comes back and boots Moxley off. But that is a valid point about Hangman never being able to finish the job. So I don't know. However, Darby Allin is so over at some point we have to give him the championship, right? But I don't know if it's his time yet. But it just might be Hangman's time. I think that you'll have more storylines if Hangman takes it from him. Not to say that you won't have any if Darby does either, and come the however you slice it or dice it, like they're multiple ways to skin that cat. But I think that
Mm-hmm.
there are more like natural storylines because Hangman's been an OG. Not that Darby hasn't been an OG, but Hangman's truly been an OG.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. In the when we crowned the inaugural AEW World Champion, it was between him and Chris Jericho. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Now, a lot of hardcore fans were saying back then it should have been Hangman, and I said, hold up, wait a minute.
Mm-mm.
And I said, you have to put it on a guy that has
Legitimacy.
been, you got to legitimize it for a guy that has been a former world champion, that main event at WrestleMania, and is world known worldwide. So that was a
Right.
very smart decision.
I
Long
agree with
term,
it.
it did work. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And it got a lot of and granted, that's when he had the inner circle and all that, and he was able
Mm-hmm.
to really build the belt up. Granted, he lost the belt, legitimately lost the belt, somewhere, but nonetheless, they made the right decision. Of course,
Agreed.
he was champion. Was it 2022?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Punk, took the belt from him and that type of thing. But at the same time, he's really worked his way up, climbing the
Mm-hmm.
ladder constantly, climbing the ladder, and just not getting the job done. So that's what they were talking about today on whether or not the fans are gonna, what's gonna happen post Hangman losing the title if he loses. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If he loses the match and we're not winning the title and everything. So, like I said, we'll see. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the match. It's a Texas death match. Anything and everything can happen. I mean, look at the match he had with Swerve. Oh my God. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like they didn't throw just the kitchen sink. I mean, they threw the whole damn hospital. You know what I mean? They threw everything. In that
Mm-hmm.
match. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that Hangman does win, but like to your point, that I alluded to this before. If Darby is not in that battle royal when Mox wins, I would love to see a video of of Mount Everest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like this guy defying the odds of, you know what I mean? Because we've heard
Mm-hmm.
stories about people climbing Mount Everest and not being successful. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, that would be the perfect way for him to come back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll see. We'll tie up on that match. And the match that I feel should be the main event and close out All In Texas is for the AEW Women's World Championship as the champion Timeless Tony Storm takes on the belt collector and your TBS champion Mercedes Moné. Now, I love the build up to this match. I love what they've been doing. I love the promos that they've been doing. And I
Mm-hmm.
love the fact also, and I alluded to this a couple of weeks ago, how they've completely kept them away from each other this entire time up until now.
Mm-hmm.
I love now that was extremely smart because the intrigue was just building and building and building. Okay, when is this collision course? When are they going to come to a head? When is this going to happen? And now we're getting it on the grandest stage of AEW right now. So another point was made this morning when I was listening to Busted Open. They were talking about what sense does it make if Mercedes is winning all of these belts, he's collecting all these belts and loses.
She got to take L. So that's my thing, right? I think that at some point we got to start like she has to fall. She has to have her fall from grace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hopefully, I don't think I'm torn, right?
Right.
So here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I honestly think that they are trying to erase Jade from the TBS championship. So therefore, Mercedes needs to hold the belt longer than Jade. So I don't see her losing that belt anytime soon. That particular belt. Um, but like, then what? She beats Tony Storm. Then what? She's already ran through all of AEW's women. They're gonna like, are they bringing her in to do like who's gonna take it from her? If not Tony Storm, then who? So I don't think I would love Tony Storm to win. Also, Tony
Mm-hmm.
Storm has never won it all in. So
Right.
like so worth mentioning too. But I don't see them taking Mercedes, the belt from Mercedes. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle. My
I
heart
am
wants Tony
too.
to win, but like if not now, then when? And if not now, then who?
Right.
I don't
I
know.
agree. I totally agree with you. And it's like I'm at a point where I'm just like Tony Storm has done some amazing work this past year.
Hmm.
I mean, truly. I mean, obviously the match she had with Mariah May a few months ago. I mean, that was just you couldn't write a better storybook ending to a feud than that match.
Hmm.
Like I felt the match that she had with Megan Bayne. This is no shade on Megan Bayne at all
Hmm.
at Dynasty. And I'm just like, I felt like that was too soon for Megan Bayne because what is Megan Bayne doing now?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I would have had Megan Bayne just stack up wins and stack up wins and stack up wins, bring in enhancement talent because that's somebody you want to build and build and build,
Hmm.
and then eventually she's gonna get that world that maybe put the TBS title on her somewhere down the road where she can have that title and just reign supreme with that. But it's like, dang, it's like it's almost like okay, there's no follow up a lot of times in
Right.
AEW's matches. The matches are great, don't get me wrong, but
And they
again,
just move on.
where's the follow up?
Hmm.
So that's been the main concern. So again, if Tony Storm loses, then what happens? Does she get the rematch?
Yeah.
Does
I don't
she
know.
does she revert back to her old gimmick of with the eyeliner on under her eye? You know what I mean? What are we gonna do from there? So it's a lot of questions that are gonna be answered this Saturday night. But let me ask you a question. What are the chances on a scale of 1 to 10 on the Gabble meter, which is a very, very solidified meter, I might add, and I believe in it. I believe in that more than Santa Claus, by the way. That this is going to be the main event of All In Texas.
No,
Give it a 0?
it's not. You know they're gonna put the boys. He never. No. Mm-mm.
Because to me, I felt that this is. I mean, again,
I don't agree with it,
oh,
but
right?
I
I
just know
understand.
Tony
Right,
Khan's
right, right, right,
booking.
right, right. Because I feel as though there's been more intrigue about the women's title match than Hangman and Mox. We've seen Mox in death matches before.
100%.
We've seen Hangman in some extreme situations before. He set a man's house on fire.
Hmm.
What haven't we seen already to be
You're not
worthy
wrong.
of closing out a show?
You're not wrong.
Mercedes Moné undefeated, the four-time champion, Tony Storm. She has all the belts. She has what, 6 belts now, whatever it is. She's won all these belts. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose? You can't put that as close out the show. I will gain so much more respect for Tony Khan if he does it.
We'll see.
Yeah. But we'll definitely close the bow on that. And we're going to move on now to the event that you're going to be going to next Saturday in the beautiful historic Atlanta, Georgia, known as the ATL or the A, which depending upon which lingo you like to use. But WWE Evolution,
Hmm.
and I saw a tweet this morning where Michelle McCool said the phone didn't ring.
Good. Good.
Oh my god! Wait a minute! Wait! You don't like the Faith Breaker?
Good. I said what I said.
By the way, speaking of which, did you see her daughter do that 450 splash over the
Yeah.
top?
Yeah.
Kaya is 12 years old. That is,
Hmm.
whew,
Throw her and Lil
man,
Brody in the ring.
man. Between Lil Brody, Kaya, we got Aurora Levesque, Stephanie Triple H's daughter. Man, we're gonna have some nepo babies. Don't forget
Hmm.
Roman Reigns just had a baby recently. Congrats to Roman Reigns, the tribal
Hmm.
chief. Six, man, you figure with Jacob, Roman, the Usos,
Bloodline's never ending,
the
man.
bloodline ain't ended, man. We're talking about 50 years from now. Bloodline 8.0. But Evolution does have 7 matches listed so far. I think this might be the card. I don't know what they may add tonight on Raw as we're taping, or what they may add on NXT tomorrow, or what they may add the night before the event. In well, 2 nights before the event on SmackDown. So we never know. But we'll just go off of what we see here. We have the NXT Women's Championship match with the champion JC Jane taking on Jordan Grace. Now, let me ask you a question. When JC Jane first won the title, were you shocked?
Yeah. I think she's been in NXT long enough where it made sense, but I think she's losing. I think she's a transitional champ.
Mm, I see. Yeah, because like right now, Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix is going to be at ringside. Maybe some things could happen, but because to me, I was thinking Jordan was getting ready for the main roster. That was my thought process in the whole matter.
Hmm.
That okay, maybe Jordan loses, then appears on Raw. Because what you have well, wait a minute, no, because this girl's on SmackDown right now, Roxanne. So maybe Jordan might go to SmackDown. So that might be a good place for her. I don't know. But I'm picking JC Jane to retain, but you're saying that Jordan's gonna win?
Yeah, I got my money on Jordan.
Talk about it.
Um, JC Jane has been a boring champ. I think WWE in general with NXT, HBK has been very sink or swim.
Hmm.
Sink or swim, Kalani Jordan. Sink or swim, a lot of the women down there are very much on sinker. So Ruka. A lot of sinking and swimming going on right now. Lately they've been swimming. But I don't know if JC Jane been swimming. So we'll see. But also they just people got to stay in NXT, right? Think about Trick and Carmelo. Actually, no, Trick needs to be down there. Carmelo stayed in NXT a year later than he probably should have because you can't take all the talent. And they just took Julia up. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like they just took a round of girls up. So I think
Stephanie,
that you have
Roxanne,
to
right?
at some point you have to build the next person up, which is why I think Roxanne could have been a main wrestler like a year and a half ago, but
I
she
agree.
couldn't leave because you have to still build that. You got to stay and build. They can't take
Agreed.
everybody. So I think
Right.
Jordan needs to sit on there to build the next set of girls up. She's still young. She'll be fine next year.
Yeah, you figure Jordan's only 29, and
She's
that's
still young.
she's young.
She's been in
That's
the business for a very long time, but she's young.
yeah. But also too is like she's she I don't even think George hit her prime yet. That's
Yeah,
scary.
yeah,
I, and
I
I
agree.
say this and I'm not saying this to insult her. I'm talking
Right.
about there's so much room for her to grow as a
Mm-hmm.
superstar that she could main event WrestleMania in 3 to 4 years. And I
Mm-hmm.
think and I'll be all right and I'll be all right with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have next it was announced last week on Raw the Women's World Championship match between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. I was under the impression that a match like this would have been at SummerSlam. I thought initially.
Nah,
Nah.
nah. I want to see Asuka and Io at SummerSlam. I wanted to see the evolution. Didn't happen. I want to see I want to see bigger matches.
That would be great, I think, because you figure there's no damage control anymore. They very quiet, just like they very quietly dismantled the bloodline. They very
Hmm.
quietly dismantled damage control, especially with Dakota Kai no longer being with the company and
Hmm.
everything. So that makes sense. Um, you know, I think with this match, now that you mention that, I don't see Rhea winning this match.
Same.
I think somebody might cost her the match,
Wouldn't be shocked.
and that girl is Raquel Rodriguez.
Hmm.
They still have unfinished business. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So I could totally see, that coming down the pipe. So Eos, so we're both in agreement that Io Sky is going to retain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, not a problem. All right, so we have a fatal four-way tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We have the champions Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez taking on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and two teams to be determined. Now, this is where I get on my high horse because a match like this, Metaphor should have benefited from that.
Duh. Agreed.
I mean, well, she's going by Maya Sade, I think she's going by now.
Hmm.
Her and Lash Legend, this is tailor made for them.
Hmm.
So it's like the two teams is going to be determined. You're going to probably put two random people together, but so what I think is going to happen. You saw how Rhea Ripley. I said that Rhea Ripley was going to cost her the match. I think Rhea Ripley is going to cost Raquel and Roxanne the tag team titles and put it on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair because they've been getting a lot of TV time. Your thoughts?
I don't want to see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, but it makes sense unless they're going to go the Bella's route because they still got Nikki Bella running around without a match.
Yeah, I think one of those. Well, you know what? Now that you mention that, the Bella Twins might be one of those two teams, and
And I
yeah,
think the other team is the only other tag team that's in NXT. So like that's pretty obvious who that's going to be. But yeah, I think it'll either be the Bellas or Charlotte and Alexa.
yeah. So maybe we might see. You can look, but you can't touch. Unbelievable. But yeah, we'll see. But there is a battle royal for a women's world championship match at Clash in Paris
Hmm.
to be determined. Now, as you're looking at the landscape right now, and of course that's after SummerSlam too, who do you think would be the perfect candidate to win that battle royal, earning a championship opportunity?
I don't know. I don't know because it's so far off that match. You know what I mean? Like that's not anytime soon. So like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. So much could happen. Um, but for the sake of the conversation, I'll just say Nia Jax.
I can see that. Which
I don't
brings
know.
me to the next match for the WWE Women's Championship, where Tiffany Stratton will be taking on Trish Stratus. People were not very fond of the promo that Tiffany Stratton cut on Friday SmackDown because she went from being a babyface to cutting a heel promo.
Tiffy time is over.
Now, do you mean, let me ask you a question. Do you mean in regards to the title reign, or are you talking about her being a face? And because to me, she's a heel.
Both. Both.
Okay.
Um, I don't understand why Trish needs to insert herself in this. I don't really understand. Um, I love a good legends, but like leave that for the battle royal. Leave that
Hmm.
for like a crowd pan and a pop when you see like Lay Cool in the crowd. Like give me that. I
Right.
don't need my legends doing matches for championship belts. Now, I will say that belts need to change hands that night. Otherwise, the
Hmm.
glorified house show is just women. So I would love for Tiffy to win and then not Jade, and then Naomi cashes in at SummerSlam because I think Naomi's leaving SummerSlam with the belt. I don't think we'll get a cash in this weekend. But I don't know. I don't like it. I don't have thoughts on it. Y'all know I'm not a
Wait,
Tiffany Stratton fan.
can you imagine that we can have two legends winning world championships this weekend,
No,
and
I
Trish
can't. I don't
Stratus
want to.
and
Don't want
William
to.
and one William Goldberg? I mean,
I
come
don't
on.
want to talk about it. No.
Ah! Yo, people are going to be so effing livid if Goldberg wins the title. I think, and I'm not trying to go to Saturday night's main event, but I think here's my theory: Goldberg's going to win the title, and Seth
And then
Rollins is
Seth
going to
cashes
cash in.
in.
Is that cashes in on him? That's how you piss the fans off because they're in his home. They're in Goldberg's hometown in Atlanta,
Yeah.
so
And he just
it
lost
makes
his
sense.
father-in-law. He just lost his father-in-law this week
Father-in-law,
too.
right. So yeah, so I totally see that happening. But can you imagine if we can get a two for two? That would
No,
be
I don't want
crazy.
that. I don't
No,
want
no,
that.
yeah, I totally see what you're talking about happening at SummerSlam. But speaking of, we have a no holds barred match between Jade Cargill and Naomi, and I'm torn on this match because of SummerSlam. Because Jade Cargill is going to be wrestling. I'm assuming it's going to be Tiffany Stratton. Because I mean, I was
Hmm.
joking about Trish Stratus, but I believe
Yeah.
Tiffany's going to
Yeah.
win. So it's going to be Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton
And
wrestling
then
at
Naomi comes
SummerSlam.
and cashes
Naomi
in,
Cash,
and then we move
right.
on.
So because right now Jade already beat Naomi,
Hmm.
right?
I don't think
WrestleMania.
this match matters. I know we want this match, but I don't think the outcome of this match really matters in the grand scheme. It's like they just needed to stack the card up. So they're like, all
Yeah,
right, we'll throw it here.
because this would make to me this would make sense somewhere down the line as Naomi is the
Correct.
champion. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I thought that if Tiffany Stratton wrestled somebody, I don't know, else at SummerSlam, wherever the case may be, that Naomi would cash in on them, and then now Jade Cargill is chasing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And a no holds barred match could be the culmination of the feud.
Right.
But yeah, I just think, and to your point, I hope it's not a glorified house show because I feel as though the women are far more deserving than that. They
Hmm.
deserve better. I don't want to just no, I don't want to say if it's necessarily true, but there's been word that some people are feeling that this was only put together to combat AEW All In.
Yeah, probably.
Because I would imagine that All In will probably still be going on when Evolution starts.
No, Evolution's the next day.
Oh,
Evolution
yeah.
is
So
Sunday.
I keep getting the days mixed up with Saturday night's main event
Because they're
and
usually on Saturdays and not. Yeah.
right. So yeah, I mean, they're making a weekend out of it in Atlanta. I think it's cool, but damn, Saturday. You figure, isn't the Beyonce concert that Sunday
It's
night?
across the street. Hmm.
You're going up against the Beehive.
Hmm.
Damn, I don't know, man. Because you got a lot of wrestling fans that love Beyonce.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. But that's the whole point, right? We're not in these rooms because I'm not a Beehive girl. Like, I don't know like that.
Right. I understand. Right.
But I recognize that she's on tour, and my first thought would have been like, where is Beyonce that weekend? Because like, why would you counter program Beyonce? But that just proves like we're not in these rooms. Whether it be black women, white women, doesn't matter. Like any woman would have been like, Beyonce's on tour. It's like programming against Taylor Swift. Like, why would you do that?
You know what's crazy? I actually experienced that one time. UFC 133 was in Philadelphia, and I took my best friend for his birthday in Philadelphia. And it was the same night as a Taylor Swift concert. It was a complete disaster getting out of that parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. You got to be smarter with booking these buildings because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, that was just not smart on WWE's part at all. And I don't think this Evolution 2 was planned months was like planned a year ago. This
No,
was something
absolutely not.
fairly recent.
Agreed.
Cause there better be an Evolution 3 next year.
Or the year after. They do it every other year whenever they do it, but they need to stick to it and make it consistent.
Because you forget it's been 7 years
Yeah.
since the first one, and I thought it was a here, damn. You know what I mean? I thought
And
it was
that's
that
and that's what it's giving now, honestly.
right. Like and I don't like that. I don't like where it's like, I
Hmm.
here, man. I don't like that because you're not really being genuine about the gesture.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're just being, you all right? Let me let's get it. It's good enough. Whatever. Go. Just get out of here. You know what I mean? No,
Yeah.
can't have that. Now I believe this match will be the main event for Evolution 2, and it's for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch defending against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I like this feud. I love the way it's been being built. They're putting emphasis on the Intercontinental Championship, which is dope. I like it. Um, I don't see Becky dropping the title right now. I don't see it
Bailey's gotta win though, right?
at
Bailey keeps taking the
SummerSlam.
L's.
At
That's fair.
SummerSlam.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because it makes more sense to win it on that stage. You know what I
Makes
mean?
sense.
So
Yeah.
maybe if a situation where Becky, because I mean she's a heel, she's gonna do whatever she has to do underhandedly to make sure that she's retaining the championship. You
Hmm.
know, I would totally see that happening, Becky retaining, and then that sets up Bayley and Becky Lynch. I would even love a stipulation. If I don't win this match, I can never challenge for the title for the Intercontinental Championship as long as you're the champion.
That's fair.
That adds some intrigue to it. Your thoughts?
Sure. I'm not really invested in anything in Becky Hogan, I'm not gonna lie to you. So we'll see. But I like Bailey.
Speaking of the red and yellow, did you see when Mercedes was on? I think she was on IG
Yeah, and she was
Live, and she
like
said,
Mercedes
"Don't
Omega.
she said, don't call me Becky, don't call me Mercedes Hogan, call me because somebody did make a valid point though that Hogan was never a belt collector because he wasn't good enough to be a belt collector."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, I don't know, but Becky, yeah, I think Becky walks out with it. You know what I mean, and sees what happened. Do you? And let me ask you a question: do you see any surprises besides the? We talked about the Bellas earlier. Well, more Brie Bella because Nikki's been around. But do you see any surprises, or who would you rather you know what? Rather than that, who would you like to see show up that hasn't been seen in a while?
I don't know. Surprise me.
Okay, I respect that.
I don't know. Surprise me. I don't know. I haven't put too much thought into it. Again, I don't mind. Give me some TNA girls in the battle royal. Throw me
Yeah,
the
I would like. Yeah,
Iconics, like,
yeah,
or have the Iconics take out a tag team and they go in the tag team gauntlet match and they win. As at some point we have a TNA belt. At some point, TNA needs to take one of our belts for this to be like a thing, right?
yes,
I just don't know when and what that belt will be, but at some point they have to take one of our belts.
yeah. I could see that happening. Can you imagine the Bellas and the Iconics returning? Now, I could dig that. I could dig that. That would be dope. Because weren't the Iconics they were in the first Evolution, correct?
I don't remember. Sounds probably.
Yeah, let me look because I mean I have Evolution up here now. Let me go back to the previous Evolution and I'm looking here and looking at the matches and it looks like were they? No. Because the tag team match that was there was Trish Stratus and Lita beating Mickey James and Alicia Fox, and it looks like there was a 6-woman tag with Sasha, Bailey, and Natalia defeating the Riot Squad.
Mm.
So wow, the Iconics were not. Wow, that's crazy because they ended up winning the tag titles at WrestleMania anyway.
Yeah, they got them from Sasha and Bailey.
Sasha and Bailey, right? And I think it was a fatal 4-way women's because I think oh god, I think Natty and Beth Phoenix were in that match too.
Makes sense.
Ooh. I wonder if Beth Phoenix is going to show up.
Her husband's over at AEW, so I doubt it. I mean, I can appreciate the thoughts, but once her husband signed over there, she kind of quietly left in NXT too. Like, yeah, I don't think we'll see it.
Yeah.
Sounds great though, but mm,
Yeah, that I mean that would be something. Like I said, I'm a proponent for women's wrestling. I've always have been, and like I said, I just hope that this is something that they can continue to do, going
hmm
forward, and not just here damn situation. So that's that. But let's talk about you and what's been going on. You have a lot happening with lip gloss and ladders, man. So talk about it. How's everything going on that end?
everything's going good. I hope to have some fun this weekend in Atlanta. So look forward to that content. Look forward to your content from all AEW. I think we got a busy weekend. We've got a busy
Yeah,
weekend.
man. And you know what though? The cool thing is that like no matter what it is, like we're bringing it back home to the family, and the fact that we're getting these opportunities to explore and with our brands and all the things that we're
hmm
doing, I think is great.
hmm
I will see some people down in Texas this weekend. The missus is coming. She's coming on this trip with me, and it's going to be really really cool. To kind of intertwine so she can kind of see what this world is really like. You know what I
hmm
mean? So it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, tell the folks where they can find you on social media and where they can listen to Lip Gloss and Ladders.
So you can find us at Lip Gloss and Letters, and you can find me on all social media under Hi Gabrielle.
Awesome, man. Well, as always, thank you for doing what you do here. The love is always here. You know that. And we'll definitely be catching up next weekend for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Edition of the D-Lew podcast. Once again, thank you, Gabby, for all that you do and all you're doing outside of the D-Lew podcast with lip gloss and ladders and things of that nature. And like I said, we'll be back next week to recap this incredible weekend of professional wrestling. If you guys in the Philadelphia, South Jersey, Maryland, Delaware area, make sure you're heading up to Paulsboro, New Jersey this Saturday, 2 p.m. bell time for Monster Factory Super Splashdown. Okay, now I won't be there doing ring announcer thing, but make sure you support. All right, make sure you do that. Incredible matches that will be on the card. Bell time is at 2, and I believe the doors open at 1:30. You can go to Monster Factory's social media pages, hit the link in the bio, and you can get your tickets. If you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe on all platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, okay, and of course my YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and you can look up the real D-Lew, Derrick T. Lewis, or the D-Lew podcast and hit subscribe. Then when you hit the bell, make sure you hit all so you get all notifications, okay, of any content uploaded to my channel. Social media, again, you can follow this podcast on all social media platforms at the D-Lew Podcast. Of course, you can follow me on all social media platforms at the Real DT Lew, with the exception of Facebook, which is Derrick T. Lewis official page. You can hit up my Pro Wrestling Tees store at pwt.derricklewis.com, and you can hit up the Derrick T. Lewis official merchandise store. All right. That has that Nike merch. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got some Nike themed merch there for you. Shop.derricklewis.com. Where I'm going to get out of here. And as I always say, no matter what it is you do in life, always remember to make it count. And for those that are going to All In this weekend, I'll see you in Texas.